Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television. Coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, I'm Uyi Agmofegbe, reminding our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. President Bola Tinubu has officially launched the Labor Employment and Empowerment Program, LEEP, a new national initiative aimed at creating at least 2.5 million sustainable jobs within 2 years and transforming Ministry of Labor and Employment into a job-creating powerhouse. The president at the program's launch in Abuja declared that it is the administration's most comprehensive response yet to the mounting challenge of youth unemployment and the disruptive forces reshaping the global labor market. Represented by Vice President Kashif Shettima, the president said in the face of the digital revolution that is rendering traditional jobs obsolete, the future depends on how well the country equips its people not to just survive but to lead in this new world. Meanwhile, Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) says militancy, kidnapping and other social vices in the country would drastically reduce if the federal and subnational governments create jobs for citizenry. It also advised that the government creates sustainable and not casual jobs, which pay would not sustain a worker for a month. Speaking at the official launch of the Labour Employment and Empowerment Program, LEEP, in Abuja, the Congress President, Joe Ajaero, noted that employment remains the best way to cope with social crisis in the country. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, has directed the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, MASA, to commence the process that will lead to the long-awaited disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund. The fund has suffered over 2 decades of administrative stagnation, and the directive ushers in a new era of strategic repositioning of Nigeria's indigenous shipping. The disbursement of the CVFF will represent not just the release of funds, but a commitment to empowering Nigerian maritime operators, bolstering national competitiveness, and fostering sustainable economic development. The People's Democratic Party Governors Forum has expressed solidarity with suspended River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara amid his ongoing ordeal, including his suspension and the declaration of a state of emergency. The governors who met in Ibadan, Oyo State capital, urged the federal government to address the alarming insecurity across the country. Ramsey Enokagbo has details.
It is a convergence of state executives under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, and they have converged on Nigeria's southwest political capital, Ibadan, to deliberate on how best to reposition the nation's major opposition party ahead of future elections. The governors went into a closed-door meeting, after which they briefed the E-News men on the outcome of the resolutions reached during their meetings.
About the possible merger of political parties, groups, and/or associations, the forum resolved that the PDP will not join any coalition or merger. However, the PDP, as a major opposition party, welcomes any party, persons, or groups that are willing to join it with a view to wresting power and enthroning good leadership in 2027.
In addition, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) governors addressed issues relating to the smooth running of its party, while it also lamented what it termed the worsening security situation in parts of the country, calling on the federal government to look into the matter and check the needless loss of innocent lives.
The forum finds alarming the worsening security situation in the country, as evidenced in parts of the country, especially Borno, Plateau, Katsina, and Edo states. The forum calls for the review and reordering of priorities and strategies, including adopting a bottom-up template that guarantees the subnationals to constitute an effective line of defense against security breaches.
Present at the meeting were host Governor Sheyi Makinde, Governor of Bauchi State Bala Mohammed, Peter Mba of Enugu State, Agbu Kefat of Taraba State, Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State, amongst others, while governors of Delta and Akwa Ibom states were represented by their deputies. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you so very much, Ramsey. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mufwang has vowed that the killers and their sponsors responsible for the attacks in Bassa communities and other parts of the state will not go unpunished. He said troops and security personnel had been deployed and reinforced in vulnerable communities. Mufwang said to restore calm and strengthen vigilance. The governor announced a restriction on night grazing and a ban on transportation of cattle by vehicle in the state after 7 p.m. effective 16th April. He also announced the restriction on the use of motorcycles from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. across the state until further notice. Let's take you to Nigeria's southeast now, where Imo State government says it is strengthening its healthcare sector by prioritizing the training and additional reorientation of frontline health workers. In this special report, Global TV's Amarachi Ibe speaks with the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Success Prosper Oayaga, on the state's ongoing reforms to improve primary health care delivery.
Of renewed efforts to revamp healthcare services across Imo State, the Imo State government has launched a robust capacity building program for frontline health workers in primary healthcare centers. The head commissioner, Dr. Prosper Oayaga, says the initiative is not only improving technical competence but also instilling professionalism and service discipline. According to him, the program adopts a train-the-trainers model, allowing selected health workers to receive intensive training and return to their various centers to replicate the knowledge, ensuring statewide impact, especially at the grassroots.
We have also embarked, because capacity building is one of the things that we really need to understand that will help the health sector. So we embarked on capacity building of frontline health workers. This capacity building is not just for those who will be there. There will also be cascade capacity building. Those who have attended capacity building will go back to their health centers and do that.
Beyond technical skills, the initiative also targets behavioral issues. Dr. Oayaga revealed that in the past, some health workers were seen engaging in inappropriate conduct, such as selling groundnuts during official hours. He emphasized that the government is addressing these challenges through continuous training, effective monitoring, and a renewed sense of accountability within the sector.
Changed the attitudinal behavior towards health care. In the past, when you go to some primary health centers, you see health workers selling granules and everything. But today, health workers are health workers for what they are in Imo State.
Dr. Oayaga reaffirms the government's commitment to building a responsive and disciplined health system capable of delivering accessible, efficient, and people-centered services across Imo communities. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, Global TV News.
Imo State correspondent there, Amarachi Ibe. Former Vice President and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar, has expressed sorrow and outrage over the recent wave of killings in Plateau and Borno states, describing the incidents as a reflection of the worsening insecurity situation in the country. In a strongly worded statement issued on his official X accounts, Atiku condemned the latest attack in Zike community in Kimaba area of Kwali district, Bassa local government area in Plateau State, where at least 47 persons were killed. The incident, which occurred on Sunday, comes on the heels of another deadly attack in Bokos local government area. In a related development, the Northern Youth Council of Nigeria has condemned the recent wave of violence in Plateau State, calling on the federal government to take immediate and decisive action to halt the crisis. In a statement issued in Kaduna, the council expressed concern over the tragic pattern of bloodshed that has devastated communities and robbed families of loved ones in Plateau State. The council's demand for action comes on the heels of President Bola Tinubu's condemnation of the latest attacks in Plateau State, which claimed the lives of over 40 citizens. And still twerking security matters, armed bandits have stormed Tunga Dada community in Moriki district of Zerubi local government area in Zamfara State, killing one resident and abducting over 50 locals. The operation occurred around 3:30 a.m. with the bandits shooting sporadically at unsuspecting villagers before herding dozens away to an unknown location. The Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, has accused the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation allegedly frustrating the implementation of local government autonomy despite a Supreme Court ruling in favor of direct funding for all 774 local councils. Speaking ahead of a Federal High Court ruling in Abuja, the Association Secretary General, Mohammed Abubakar, stated that the AGO's directive for the Central Bank of Nigeria to open uniform accounts for all local governments undermines the spirit of the court's decision. Abubakar said the Supreme Court clearly affirmed that local governments are an independent tier of government. This is Global Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of the Midday News with Uyi Agmofwebe. When the rest of the news returns shortly, Aruna faces unbeaten Calibrec in World Cup tie. Details of these shortly, plus foreign and business stories on the other side of this break. Thank you so very much for staying with us on the Midday News. The second part of this news broadcast returns now with business, where the influx of Chinese mobile phones into Nigeria's mobile telephone market has continued to provide hundreds of jobs for youths across the country. In Kano, Nigeria's center of commerce, millions of people trooping on a daily basis to purchase mobile phones and accessories in the state's mobile phone market. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrin takes a look at the influx of mobile phones into the nation's market.
This is called Farm Center in Kano, the largest GSM market in northern Nigeria. From here, mobile phones from different parts of the world are brought. From repairs to selling of GSM accessories, hundreds of youth are engaged in various trading activity. Traders here say millions of jobs are being created.
At least even if there is not in Farm Center GSM market has contributed a lot to the entire Kano state, and it helps government at least for job creation. If you look at Farm Center, as I am talking now, we have at least more than 21,000 members in Farm Center GSM market that they are selling phones and other phone alliance here in Farm Center. So at least even if there is nothing, we have contributed a lot to the government of Kano State.
Over the years, the inadequate capital, the lack of government intervention, and more disturbing, the problem of foreign exchange is gradually threatening this trade in Kano. According to the traders union in the market, apart from job creation, Farm Center GSM market is contributing significantly to revenue generation and has remained consistent in improving the youth living standard.
It gives us something doing and hope that there are opportunities and there is hope. Like without even having a degree or like maybe Western education, you can come here at least make an earning for yourself.
Like tips, they used to stall or steal tips, funds from other people and bring it here to the market, sell it. One of the sellers like us here, that is why our Oga said that we should not buy any laptop or phones without a receipt.
Capitals. The challenges is all about capital. Most of the youth here in Farm Center, they are liking what? They are liking capital. We don't have capital here in Farm Center, and we want to call the attention of government at least to help us, to help our youth at least to empower them with maybe some money or some gadgets or something that will going to boost their businesses here in Farm Center GSM.
Over 10,000 youth are currently trading in this market, but they require expansion and government intervention across all value chain of the trade. From Kano, Idris Jibrin reporting for Global Television News.
Idris, thank you. The European Union has expressed keen interest in expanding trade and investment of member countries to Nigeria's solid mineral sector. European Ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Gutiérrez Millont, disclosed this during a courtesy visit to Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alaki. Sharon Ajay has more.
European Ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Gutiérrez Millont, commended ongoing efforts to reposition Nigeria's mining sector, noting that the EU delegation seeks to better understand the industry and explore areas of mutual interest and collaboration.
The mapping exercise. So, and as you know, the European Union delegation works very closely with the member states' embassies. A little bit of coordinating role and exchanging information, and so yes, very eager to learn more about this sector in Nigeria and how we can try to find common opportunities and partner.
Responding, Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alaki, emphasized Nigerians' readiness to engage with EU member states and investors to unlock the vast potential of our solid minerals for shared prosperity. Highlighting Nigerians' wealth of critical minerals, the minister pointed to the abundance of high-grade lithium, an essential component in solar panels, electric vehicles, and battery production. He further described Nigeria as a hub for mineral critical to the global shift towards green energy.
Solid minerals are needed within and without, and we are ready to sell and do business within and without. So, to really make this possible is why we are putting in policy measures that will create an enabling environment locally for investors to operate. For instance, if an investor is interested in our solid minerals, once it is licensed and is starting operation, we have tax incentives on machinery or equipment that will be used for the exploration, exploitation, extraction, processing, and all of that. We have tax incentives just to encourage the foreign investors to have more.
Hinting at the federal government's new approach towards sustainability and traceability of minerals extracted from the country, the minister revealed that mechanisms are being put in place to track minerals mined from the country, whether raw, semi-processed, or finished minerals. He emphasized that Nigeria is committed to ensuring that minerals exported from the country are traceable, stressing that government is tied those responsible for cutting away illegally mined minerals.
Locally, the security of the operating environment has been enhanced through the creation of the mine marshals, and they've been doing a yeoman's job. In fact, their activities have really encouraged a lot of investors who keep coming here to tell us that, oh yeah, these people are working, their environment are now safer, and the incidence of illegal mining is subsiding because the mine marshals, they are specifically targeted at curbing illegal mining, which has always been a serious issue, not just in Nigeria, all over Africa where there is solid minerals.
The European ambassador to Nigeria, however, assured the minister that the EU will consult with member states to encourage European companies to explore partnership opportunities in Nigeria's solid mineral space, noting that the EU shared commitment to sustainable and mutually beneficial trade relationships. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Oh, thank you, Sharon, for your reporting. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has begun an investigation into the alleged 1.3 trillion naira fund perpetrated through a digital investment platform, crypto cyberbank exchange known as CBEX. CBEX collapsed on Monday and thousands of investors were unable to access their funds, which many of them surrounding the Lagos and Ibadan offices of the platform. The Commission spokesman, Dele Oyewale, has revealed that the anti-graft agency would join forces with the International Criminal Police Organization to probe the incident. Now it's time to turn to the foreign scene for you, away from business. Sudan has entered its second year of war that has killed tens of thousands, displacing 13 million and triggering the world's worst humanitarian crisis with no sign of abating. British Foreign Secretary David Lammy said in London that officials from around the world were meeting to agree a pathway to end the suffering in the Northeast African nation. Secretary Lammy announced a £120 million in support of Sudan, but also established that there is a far more fundamental issue that requires urgent attention if the crisis must be brought to an end.
And today I'm announcing a further £120 million worth of support. But the biggest obstacle is not a lack of funding or texts at the United Nations. It's a lack of political will.
The British envoy noted that with the conflict spreading beyond Sudan's borders, the rest of the world cannot afford to turn its back against the nation at this point.
For their sake, we cannot resign ourselves to inevitable conflict. We cannot be back here 1 year from now having the same discussion. So today, let's show them and the world that we've not given up on them. We've not given up on Sudan.
Fighting erupted on April 15, 2023 between the regular army led by Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces headed by his former deputy Mohamed Hamdan Daglo. Uyi Agbomofwegbe reporting for Global TV News. Now let's turn to sports with some excitement for you. Nigeria's Quadri Aruna will face a familiar foe today as it seeks to end a 4-match losing streak against Sweden's Anton Karlberg in a decisive group stage clash at the 2025 ITTF World Cup in Michoud, China. Aruna is aiming to reach the knockout stage of the showpiece event for the first time since 2014. The first ever Chess Masters tournament scheduled to take place in Lagos will bring together over 500 young players from over 100 schools for Africa's largest school chess tournament, competing for more than 5 million naira in prize money. The inaugural Chess Masters tournament is open to primary school children aged between 6 and 11 across Lagos who are eager to challenge themselves, think critically, and compete at the highest level. And that's all on the Global TV Media News. A quick reminder that we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Remember to follow us across social media platforms using @Global TV NG. You can download Global TV Nigeria mobile app from across Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. On behalf of the production team here at Global Television's world headquarters in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, I'm Uyi Agbomofwegbe saying a big thank you to you for watching. Have a great day.